Thank you guys again for joining us. Tonight we are privileged to have Mr. Marquis and his lovely wife, Miss Taylor, from out of Chicago. And we will let them give you guys a little briefing of who they are.
Hi, my name is Marquis. I'm a real estate appraiser here in Chicago, born and raised. Big basketball fan, big football fan. Love doing podcasting, and I love talking about Black love.
Hi, my name is Taylor. Best way I say is I'm Marquis's partner in crime, his sidekick. And what I like to say is I like to do like a long walk on the beach. I like to read a good book sometimes. But no, I'm working with Marquis on the podcast. So the You Stuck With Me podcast. You stuck with us. And also full-time, I just work as a quality assurance agent.
So also, guys, just for the first time, I have my lovely wife with me, Miss Joy.
Hi.
My sidekick. I shouldn't say that. I know I'm pay for that later, so I'm gonna just say partner.
Your sidekick, your ride or die, boo boo.
All right, so you actually have to move over a little bit because you're not. If you see them, see that right there?
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna edit all the stuff. So
okay.
All right, come on.
I can make this chair. I'm short.
All right, now you're really close. No,
Oh, gosh.
Get up.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hey, so I thought one of the funniest things was, well, not funny, but just how, and I know, and I want to cut it
Just
out.
good. Spit it out. Good.
All right. So I'm a Leo.
I'm a Virgo.
Why are you looking like that?
Good.
So,
Good.
you guys know, and we'll tell you a story in a minute. But I laugh at it all the time because of the fact that our birth signs are on literally two sides of the planet. And I know we talked about this before, but you always feel like you're the only one that's experiencing that. Like people ask us all the time, or at least ask me. I'm not sure if they even ask you that.
No, they don't ask me that. They just ask me how I deal with you.
You realize we're on camera, right?
You listen. You let me.
Wow.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
I love
That's funny.
I love you.
That's funny.
You better have.
But listen,
You know what I went through giving birth to all them children?
Oh,
Okay. Next, good.
Hey, if it's any consolation, I deal with it the same way. So you are not alone. Again, that's another way you're not alone.
but I mean, awesome though.
Wow. All right. Yeah. This is.
Okay, back to the interview.
I don't
Okay.
know where I was at this point. No, seriously, it's things like that. It's conversations like that we have every day, all day. I love hanging out with you.
Okay.
All right.
I too love hanging out with you.
I laugh at it because, like, you guys can tell your story just like we're going to tell our story. But if you look at astrological signs or whatever, literally, I'm fire. And what's your sign? I think you're like Earth sign or something like that.
I'm Earth, yes. I'm the
So-
Earth. I'm nature. I'm, nurture
This
and
is
all
me
that.
rolling my eyes.
Okay, go ahead.
I had to say all of that. But no, seriously, we're not even supposed to. Nothing. Just like literally, if you look it up, no.
It says that Virgo and Leos are incompatible, but it also says that they would be a great match, that they would basically push each other into success. You have to, once you keep reading throughout the whole thing, if you ever read compatibility, that's what it says. But it's way down the line because there's a lot of stuff that Virgos have to deal with when it comes to Leos, and vice versa.
Oh,
I said vice versa.
thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
because nobody could be more critical of anything and anyone, including themselves, other than Virgo. Virgos are the most critical people. As much as they criticize everyone else, they criticize themselves. So if anybody has gotten offended by something that a Virgo says, trust me, they are even harder on themselves. Okay.
Leos,
you're flighty. Not flighty. No, you're party signs. You guys are the life of the party. You guys are the life of the party.
I was going to say, I really consider we're very hardworking.
No, you're hardworking. You're wonderful people. You have beautiful hearts. You really do. But so do Virgos. But you're partiers.
Miss Taylor, do you agree?
You're the life of the party.
I mean, I would say this: when we walk into a room, everybody feels our presence. I would say that. But as for party people, I don't know. That could be 50-50 because I'm not much of a party person.
Okay. Y'all make y'all presence known.
Let me get my.
Y'all make y'all presence known.
Well, that we do.
Yes.
We do.
But you can't help it.
We make our presence known.
It can't be helped. I mean,
it can't be. Okay. I mean, and the thing is that Virgos, okay, so Leos are outgoing people, but Virgos are introverts. So usually we go to a party, I tend to stay in my little area with who I'm, cool with. I venture out if he pulls me out.
It's a party.
I know, but I'm just saying. I venture out if he pulls me out.
But see, it's different with us. It's different with us. He's the party person. I always tell him he is Mr. Popular. Every time we go somewhere, there's somebody that knows Marquis. And they happen to know me because I'm just there with them. I could be on the side, doing my little thing. And like, hey, bro. Oh, hey, what's up? And then he'll tell me, oh, that's just such from, I used to grow up with him, or I used to play ball with him.
That's a lovely corner of the city.
Oh, so it's not cat. Okay. That's how I know. I have something on.
That's you though. You
I have one on. So
we can go to a different state and he'll run into somebody he knows. I mean, it's just it's a little bit exhausting, but it also is a good thing. I mean, literally, he has gone we're originally from New York and we're living in Texas now. But I never forget, there was times where for work, he had to go out for a weekend. He had to go to California. He ran into people in California.
Those are dudes from the high school in New York.
Mm-hmm.
He runs into people out here that he knew when he was younger. I don't care wherever we go. He runs into people he knows. And they're like, oh, Mike, that's your wife. Hey. Every time. Anywhere we go, we run into somebody he knows. I don't care where we are, what state we're in. It's probably the same thing if we go to a different country.
All right. So
I don't think I have that type of reach.
Not yet.
Okay, we get on subject. All right.
I don't have that type of reach.
Wow. I don't know where to go with that.
Go ahead. Take
I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm shut up.
But I can honestly say she is my yin to my yang. If that's pretty cool, right? Come on, you guys, don't laugh. That's pretty cool.
Oh my God!
Come on, don't laugh. That's pretty cool. I worked hard for that one. No, but seriously, I couldn't pick a better partner. I couldn't.
Okay, now you're gonna make me cry.
Huh? No, you can't. We're on camera.
Okay.
But you guys can relate. When she understands every bit of me. Sometimes it's a little scary how much she understands me before I even understand myself. It's not. I used to think it was weird, but I just looked at that's how God intended it to be. Like she's been, I've been. We've both been in relationships, and you guys can relate to this. But it doesn't pan out, and that's because that's not what God intended. And we'll talk about a little bit more just how close and ingrained our families were, it was destined for us to be. But let's talk about you guys. I mean, we don't want to hog the show.
Yeah, lay it on us.
Yeah, lay it on us. Come on.
Well, if God made anybody better, He kept him for Himself. Because this woman right here, like, mm, I said it in the Valentine's Day post. She keeps me centered. She's the epitome of perfection, and I can't see myself without her.
He's trying to make me cry on camera.
Listen, you cannot cry. You gotta stay strong for us Leos. Come on, we here.
I got you, but he's trying because when he made the post, I cried.
She didn't tell me that, but
Well, some things wives got to keep to themselves. Some things wives got to got to keep to themselves. But sorry, go ahead.
Like what?
Yeah.
Shut up. Let them talk.
All right.
And she gets on me when I mess with her. I say, and I'm like, shut up. She's like, don't tell me to shut up. I'll tell you about saying shut up to me.
So many years, I don't even get into it no more. It's like, all right, cool.
And the thing about she not be playing, but no, I really thank God for her. She definitely sees things that I don't see in my blind spots. She definitely defines the word helpmate. I mean, if there was a picture in the dictionary, she would be that picture. She does, hit me in my head when I do something silly.
I don't hit you in your head. I just calmly tell you, hey, there's another way of doing this.
Now that sounds like my wife.
No, but she does. She does. She keeps me balanced. She keeps me centered. She lets me know things, and she's all I can ask for, and then some. I don't know many women who know how to play Madden at a high level. I don't know many women who have the expansive shoe collection that she has, and I probably bought like 2 of those shoes.
Wait, you gotta be specific. Jordan. Yeah,
really?
Jordan.
Like like me and my dad teamed together to get her the Frozen 4s when those came out. So my family loves her. My brother adores her. Friends say that we are a match made in heaven. She's perfect.
Now,
perfect for me.
Here's the thing with that. When you talked about your family loves her, when we fuss or when we used to fuss, like when it got down and dirty, and we'll talk about that, she would always be at my house and I would always be at her house.
First of all, I will already be there. I will already be there. And your mother would know when she could just look and tell, oh, he getting on your nerves. Same thing with your sister. Well, I'm sorry, with your sisters, your brother. They all, and they be like, okay, well, he the baby of the family. You just we'll tell you how to deal with it. But, I mean, there was times it just was a comfort that I was able to speak with his mom and then speak with his sisters if something did come up. I wouldn't just go running over there and just start. It would take a while. It takes a while for me, first of all, just to spill my guts out, but I just wouldn't run over. I would already be over there, and if we happen to talk, it was a comfort to be able to sit down and have that relationship with them and be able to talk about situations and stuff and how maybe how to deal with it, or look at it from his point of view. But they were talking about them.
I'm sorry.
I would say I would describe Marquis. I said it in my wedding vows to him. I said that Marquis came at a time in my life where I felt like I didn't have any love left in my heart. And what I mean by that is, and we'll get more into that. So I lost my parents at a young age. I lost my father when I was 14. And my mom, she passed away, which is now, I believe, 6 or 7 years ago. And that hurt me to my core. And I just thought, anybody that I loved, they always didn't stick around a lot, or, God saw fit for them to call them home. So Marquis came in a time where I felt like, maybe I shouldn't do this love thing again, but he was patient with me. It's one of the things I admire about him, his patience, his resilience. I have so many names for him. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's weird for me to call him Marquis right now. I don't call him by his first name.
She really doesn't.
I have so many nicknames for him, like Bay, Huz Bay, Tall Man, which that's been the ones that's been sticking for a little bit. Also too, I call Marquis my personal Superman because he has been through a lot health wise. With his diagnosis of cancer, we got diagnosed with cancer. I want to say a month into our relationship.
About a month in,
yeah, a month into our relationship, we started dating. And just see him just fight through, and he basically told me, you know what, I'm gonna fight this for you because I want to be around for you. I want us to have like long lasting memories. I want us to be married, have kids, and everything like that. So I'll say he's my personal Superman. He's my ride or die, my partner in crime, my tall man, my peace in a storm. He's my calm peace. He's my love of my life. And I told him, funny story, that's one of the things that makes our love story unorthodox. So I'll let him tell his side of the story. But the truth is, Marquis asked me out while we were in high school. I was a freshman. He was a senior. And when he first asked me out, he just asked me out let me backtrack. So we had gym class together. I was talking to one of my best friends. I was pointing at stuff at the bleachers. He comes to me and looks up on the bar. Sleeves talking about that. Get rid of that. Some craziness or whatever. Then about a week later, he comes and asks me like, hey, how would you like to go out to the movies or something like that? And I told him I'd get back to him. I got sick and I was out of school for a week. And by the time I saw Marquis again, it was out of sight, out of mind. And so let him tell it. He would say he got curved by a freshman, and he just had to hold that in. So years later, I became a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Matter of fact, the year after he became a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and we started, talking to each other on Facebook. He saw that I was a Zeta. He was like, "Oh, congratulations, soror, welcome to the family," all that good stuff. After I graduated, I moved back to Chicago, and I had a friend that invited me out to go to Chicago Greek picnic. At first, I wasn't gonna go, but my mom was like, "No, you need to go out, enjoy yourself, make some new friends while you're back." And I'm like, "Okay." Ran into Marquis. I just see this tall man with this bucket hat on, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" I called out his name, and we just talked and walked around the whole park. And what they say, the rest is history from there.
I was a bucket hat fiend at that age, man.
Yeah,
I really was.
And then as we grown closer, I did start like him. I started seeing him in a different way. And I told him, I was like, you know what? You're going to be my boyfriend. You're going to be my husband. And you're going to be the father of my children. So now we're two for three right now.
You were right.
What you got to say, man? Go ahead. Let me hear your side.
Well, I'm going to say about 90% of that story is true.
90, okay.
Because she did curve me. I had to hold that L. Yep, I had to hold that L all year.
But I had a boyfriend.
What?
I had somebody that I was talking to.
Who?
Wow.
Okay, a situationship. I don't know. What do you want me to call it?
A 10-year entanglement.
Oh, well. He always does this to me, but go ahead.
No, but majority of that story is true, but definitely enjoy being around her, kicking in with her, saw the beauty in her. I'm like, this isn't the same girl that I asked out and got curved by when she was a freshman. So, but I'm glad that God brought us back
Amen.
together. God knew what He was doing. I'll say the same thing that I said in my vows. God knew what He was doing when He created her.
All right. Don't look at me.
Gosh, where do we start?
Ours is kind of similar in a way. Yeah. In a way, similar.
I didn't like you in high school.
I didn't like you.
Well, there you go.
We had all the same friends. We had all the same friends. We kind of were in the same circle of friends, but we just really we knew who each other was, but we never spoke. Like his best friend at the time in high school, I was really good friends with. Like to the point where I used to talk to him all the time on the phone, whatever. We used to hang out. And there was times where me and him would be standing there talking, and he would walk over to talk to his best friend, would not acknowledge that I'm standing there.
Time out. Why are you going to play?
Would not acknowledge.
That was you.
I was already in conversation.
Would you like to get Claude on the phone now? That was you.
Oh, we can do that.
That was you.
We can do that.
Lucky for you,
yeah, okay, whatever.
You know that commercial that they have out now talking about do you want to review the play?
No, it went down exactly how I said it went down. I would be in conversation with him. He would walk over and just start talking to him, and like I wasn't even there. I'm telling you, I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand him. I thought he was arrogant. I thought he was such a jerk. I couldn't.
He was a Leo being a Leo.
So he really thought he was. He really thought he was all of that. Cut to, I guess maybe a couple of years later. I was freshman year of high school. I'm not freshman year of high school. I'm sorry, freshman year of college. I ran into the store to go buy something. He just happened to be working there, and he comes up. Well, first of all,
I put the Mac movies on. You can tell.
Okay. So there was a particular store, a pharmacy that by where I used to live that a lot of girls did not want to go into because if you were a pretty girl, you walked in, I don't care if you were wearing a big old sweatshirt, jogging pants or whatever, you will get hit on like every 5 seconds. And he worked at that store. We didn't like any of the guys that worked in that store, but he worked in that store. He didn't do that. He wasn't like that. However, he did hit on me. I came into the store. I went to go because I was rushing to go find lipstick on the way before I ran into school. I mean, before getting on the bus and go to school.
Hold on, Marquis, take notes.
Okay. And I'm looking at the lipstick, and he walks over. He's like, "Why are you buying that color? I think it's too dark for you. Let me find something else for you." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, would this guy please leave me alone? Why can't I ever come in this store and not be bothered?" And he was like, "Why don't you get this?" I said, "Okay, no, thanks." I went and got the color that I originally chose, bought it, and I left. A couple of days later, I went back into the store, and he approached me again. He said, "You don't remember me?" I said, "No, should I?" And he's like, "We went to high school together." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, you my best friend Claude. I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay."
Is that how it went?
Yes, it went down there.
I told him something totally different. I'm sorry.
And you had to see it. He was standing there, this big guy, this big jock, standing there. He's got his arms folded. He's like, "Yeah, you don't remember me?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, but okay." Went to high school together. As I'm looking at him, I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's the jerk." But I said, "Okay, fine." He was being nice, and he flipped it on me. He asked me out like a gentleman. Like he didn't ask me out like how guys normally would at that age. You freshman in college, like, "Hey, what's up? You want to go out?" No, he said, "Would you like to go out to dinner with me? I think we would have a nice time." And I was just like, it kind of threw me off. And I kind of didn't know what to say because I wasn't expecting that. And then the next thing he was like, yeah, let's exchange numbers. And there was a girl that was behind the counter, his friend, and she was ready. She was working the cashier. She had pulled out paper from the receipt, and she was like, here. And she was like, take my number, and took my number. I took his, and I left. And I never forget. He called me, and I was kind of like, I don't know, but I had a conversation with my aunt Pat. God bless her soul. Because I really didn't feel like being bothered with dating because I was a teen mom. And, I just had my mindset on like, okay, I'm just going to work. I'm going to work. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to make this money. And I'm going to take care of me and my kid. At a freshman in college, like young. And I was just like, I just don't feel like dealing with it. My mom Pat is like, you are young. You are 8. So I'm sorry. She was like, how old was I at the time? No.
19.
No, when we started talking again, I was 19. And she was like, you are young. You are supposed to have fun. You're supposed to go out. If that guy asks you out, he want to take you to dinner, he want to take you out, want to take you to the movies, let him take you to the movies. I was like, And she was like, girl, let him take you to the movies. So I went, and we went. I met up with him. We went to the movies. We didn't say a word to each other during the whole movie. Actually, no, it was a good movie, but it wasn't a date movie. We went to go. What was it? The Glass Shield. Yeah. Oh my gosh! It was about corruption in the police force. I don't know why we went to go see that movie.
Real quick, sidebar. Let's talk corruption in the movie theater. You was laughing at the dude next to me.
The dude in front there was a guy in front of us that was cracking jokes throughout the whole movie. And I'm not gonna lie, he was hysterical. But we didn't speak. Me and you, we didn't speak at all. We didn't speak even on the way going home. It wasn't until after we started walking closer to my house where all of a sudden the conversation between us, it like just blossomed, like just out of the blue. We started talking about everything. We walked past my house. We walked to the park. We sat in the park for like about an hour and a half. Started talking. We talked about everything. And then it started raining a little bit. We continued to sit there and talk. And we just talked. And then after a while, he was like, oh yeah, okay, we're soaked. Let's he was like, let me take you back to your house because he was supposed to go meet his uncle. And walked me to my doorstep, kissed me goodnight, and we've been in a relationship ever since. I mean, we would be on the phone talking 3 hours a time at a night, maybe even longer. It was just
I was talking about our first conversation where we actually broke day.
It was, I don't know, it's just, you don't want to say kismet, but it was just beautiful. It hit me at a time where I wasn't expecting to get hit with love. It really wasn't in my head. I wasn't thinking about it. And it just happened. Mm-hmm. It just happened.
I got a question for y'all. What, as y'all started dating, what did you find that you had in common with each other? Like family, movies, gaming, anything?
I was surprised that she was as good at men as she is.
Like, I tried to tell him.
You didn't try to tell me. I actually had to walk into your apartment to find you playing.
I'm capping. Yeah, he walked in. He walked into the apartment. He came to see me. I think was I sick that day?
I think you just had the day off.
I had the day off, and I'm in bed playing Madden, right? I'm playing online. I'm just throwing dots. I think I was up, 21-0 when you walked in?
I think maybe even more, because the guy was trying to curse you out.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just in the bed just playing online head-to-head. Marquis walks in, and he's like, bae. I was like, I'm in the room. I'm playing the game. He was like, oh, okay. So he just thought I was playing mud?
I didn't know what you were playing. I was surprised it was men.
He walks in, sees me playing Madden. He was like, are you playing online? You want to tell what you said? It's funny when he does it.
And you didn't tell me this. Why?
So I got a quick question. Do you play Xbox or PlayStation?
Right now we play Xbox, but we play both.
What you playing? 24?
Xbox and PlayStation.
Man, 24.
Oh, so y'all still playing?
Right,
okay.
So
Yeah.
after this, we'll link up and we'll exchange information because
I don't play Madden.
I do. I have it over there.
Now Mortal Kombat. Now that's something different, but you know.
Hey, we got Mortal Kombat too.
Kick my tail on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, because he cheats.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that?
I can't stand that different person who sit there and they do the same move. I can't. Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
In the man community, we call them spammers.
Spammers.
Ain't nothing worse than getting your behind kicked as she's telling you, "Hey, I'm gonna kick you right here." And bam, she kicks you right there. And it's like there's nothing you could do.
Yeah, but that was back in the day. I'm not nice like that anymore. I mean,
but you know what though?
And I'm not nice like that anymore because of my sons have trashed me. Totally, my sons have totally destroyed me in video games where it made me feel like I don't even want to look. I don't want to pick up a game. Nothing.
Well, you know.
Don't feel bad because Marquis built my tough skin, right? So I'm like, okay, let's just have a friendly game for Madden. No, he kicked my face in, right? And I'm just like, don't I get a little bit of a pass, because, this is our first time playing? Nope. So I had to build tough skin and, he feeling himself now. So he just started saying all this little stuff like, the beating has to commence, baby. Like, I can't let you win. The beating has to commence. And then he was like, okay, so one thing he'll do is, if I'm up like a touchdown, right, he'll let me go do the whole quarter, thinking I'm about to do something. Here he go, third and fourth quarter, just dropping bombs over the top. I'm just gonna throw a Tyreek Hill. He throws a bomb to Tyreek Hill, touchdown. Then comes out of nowhere and sacks me, causes a fumble, picks it up with, I don't know, let's just say Fletcher Cox, runs. The flugaziness, I tell you, the flugaziness.
No, not Tekken. We're not talking about Tekken. Tekken is a whole other different thing. Mortal Kombat.
That's her with Mortal Kombat. You think you're going through the whole match? You got, and if it's a match of 3, you're up 2-0. And you're like, yeah, I got this.
It's not 2-0.
Whatever. It's example. She will come in like you just said. She will come in.
Don't let her tell you about when we played 2K. I said, don't let her tell you the story about the first time we played.
Oh man, I never picked up a controller after that. I had to take a brief retirement from 2K after that.
So it's a funny story. She had the Connecticut Sun and I had the Chicago Sky. So me being me, we both played basketball in high school. So I'm thinking like a ball player. Transition, defense, offense, all that stuff. Pulling up threes. Every time I pull up a three, I go.
Every time you get that, get on my nerves.
Yeah, every time. And just because I knew how to play the game, I knew what I was doing. Even though I wasn't too familiar with the players, I just knew like, okay, transition. I think that by the time the game was over, she lost by almost like 40.
Wow. You lucky you were able to wake up the next day not feeling any pain because,
She's mad at me.
Don't look at me like that.
Wow.
Don't look at me like that. Hey, couple of jabs, kicks in the sleep. Mm-hmm.
Look.
Accidentally knock you off the bed. Mm-hmm.
So listening to this, guys, it started to make me think. These are all great times. The relationships that we're talking about, it's all great times. I'm sure we've as a relationship, we've been through rough times. And I know you guys have like we have. How long we been together?
We've been together a long time.
A long time, right?
28 years. We've been together for 28 years. So
29. I don't count I count the first time we saw.
Okay, fine. We've been married for 28. together we've been together for 29. So we dated a year and they got married the following year. You happy now? Everybody know how old we are now.
These are also the same people that
I mean, Dad, I said Tekken. Everybody know Tekken.
But
nobody plays Tekken no more.
People that would say to us, "Didn't you guys get married a little early?"
Yeah. Oh, people saying, why you guys want to get married? Shouldn't y'all wait for a little bit? When you know, you know. That's all I got to say. When you know, you know.
That's the same thing that Steph Curry said about Aisha.
But it's a God's
if you know, you know.
It is. When God puts that person there, you know, you did this. You feel that awakening inside, and you know, that's the person. That's the person I'm meant to be with. That's the person I'm meant to have children with. That's the person who I'm growing old with. That's the love of my life. That is the other side of me. That is the other side of my heart. That's my life. You know.
Really cool. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. All right.
We've definitely been told that we are two sides of the same person.
Yeah.
How did my mom describe it to you?
That's pretty cool that you say that, because we're not two of the same side. We're not two of the same people. We're not. We literally are night and day. But I think the beautiful part is
we think and have grown to be one.
Right. We've learned to adapt to each other to the point where I can't see myself without her.
And vice versa.
And you know what I mean? It's like, that's scary. Like if she has to travel for work or whatever, or if I have to travel for work, we're on the phone all the time.
But it's kind of always been like that between us.
Right.
Because even when you were young and you started doing project management in your 20s, we were on the phone all the time. And I say to myself, how was he getting work done? How was he getting work done? Because he was always on the phone with me. But it's always been like that with us. So you gotta have that vibe.
So like I said, all of this is great that we're talking about, and it's really cool to talk with somebody else. We'll talk with other couples who are like-minded. How are you guys dealing with when it comes to like hard times? Because we've all hit them.
And not just the medical, but just everyone has had, you know, you go through, whether it's something that's going on financial, or you really just get on each other's nerves at that particular moment and you say something you're not supposed to say. So how do you guys deal with that?
So we had to I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So we had to have an adjustment with that. Right. So of course, me being a Leo, I rather walk away before I say something that I may not mean later. And Marquis took it as me being avoidant, like in the beginning stages of our relationship. And I would try to tell him, it's not me being avoidant. I know my mouth. I can be reckless once I get to that point. But I love and care about you. I don't want you to be the target of that. So it's just better for me to walk away. So it was just an adjustment of meeting somewhere in the middle. So he would want to talk about it right then and there. I'll be like, give me like at least 15 to go walk, you know, just leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we came up with, you know, if we have a disagreement, we try not to let it fester. Was it a day?
Yeah, because
no longer than a day, because we notice when we are out of sync, as we call it, life don't go right. Life really, everything comes tumbling down. Like I might be at work dealing with listening to some calls or at the time I was working at a hospital, so dealing with patients who will be cool usually throughout the day.
And that's the day that they just
that's the day they just chose to show their entire, you know, stuff.
And then me at the time, I was training to be a real estate appraiser, and something wouldn't go right on an inspection or notes or a quiz, and it's just like, what the?
Yeah. So we notice when we out of sync like that, life doesn't go right. We get irritated easily. And I know my, like I said, I'm a Leo. I know my attitude. So yeah. So we try to give each other some space with that. No longer than a day. We try not to go to sleep angry because we realize that it's, first of all, it's hard to go to sleep angry. Like you might be staring at the wall and it's hindering your sleep. That's number one. And number two, both of us, we were like, we can't go to sleep angry because what if the last thing I said to him was like, well, I hate you, whatever case may be.
And then something happened.
And I'll just be feeling really bad. Like, dang, I wish that wasn't the last thing he heard from me.
Likewise, because I don't ever want the last thing that she hears from me is something that is, evil or threatening, something that's not how we built our relationship on.
Yeah.
And I think that in the short, not only just the short time we've been married, but the time that we've been dating, we've learned how to argue in a way that is not dismissive, but at the same time, we find a way to get our point across.
And it's not disrespectful. So I will say this, even though I will walk away from a situation to prevent myself from saying something I'll regret later, I will say that we have never had an argument where we call each other out our name, right?
Right.
So,
because I don't like calling her names. She doesn't like calling me names, but we've learned to recognize within ourselves, like, okay, when we get to that point where it's just like okay,
yeah. And learning how to fight clean, because I know for me growing up, sometimes I'd be picked on or talked about. I had a mother that was like, if somebody come after you, you go for the juggler, right? Like they get you, you got to give them twice as hard. So just navigating through that and just applying it to my relationship, that someone I do love and care about, and I wouldn't intentionally do anything to hurt them, like changing that mindset. Like there's effective ways of getting a point across.
I like that.
Yeah.
For us, yeah.
It took a long time
to get to the point.
It took a long time.
Yeah. First, let me say this. First, praises to you that you guys are that young in your marriage, that you've already recognized that. So, because first of all, let's get that myth out the way right now. That the first year is not your honeymoon.
It really is not, because it's two people who got their own way of thinking and their own way of doing things coming together. Now,
yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. So.
With us, I mean, I had a child coming into the relationship. I got pregnant early in our relationship, but the thing is that we became so involved in our life together. It just, we pretty much jumped into everything from the beginning. We jumped into it, and it's nothing wrong with that, really isn't. But we didn't learn how to argue. We reckless mouth over here. Oh God, we didn't learn how to argue, because he would say something that would cut so deep within me, and then I'll be like, "Oh no, you didn't," and then I would try to top him, and it just, it would be senseless, and we would argue over stupid stuff. Oh my gosh, we would argue over. It could be what we want to get on pizza, whatever. It would be something stupid, but then again, we were young, but it was just. We argue about something stupid.
So we honestly have to do a two-parter on this. Yeah, it's gonna take a whole other section to get our life story. I just thank God that He woke me up and said, "Hey, listen, I have given you my daughter. That's my gift to you, Michael. You need to treat her accordingly. And it took a lot of years to get that. It really did. It really did. But I will say, I thank you for your patience. And no, honestly, I thank you for
I
your
mean,
patience.
well, with that being said, I had to learn to stop when I see that it's going to that he's feeling a certain type of way. I had to sometimes learn to pull back because there are times where I wanted to know what was going on. Or I wanted to talk about it like right now. I want to deal with it right now. I want to talk. I want to get my thoughts across. And sometimes it wouldn't be the right time. Like for some people need a
That's
breather.
what I had
There were
to
times
learn.
in a relationship where I needed a breather and needed to walk away, like go for a walk or go to the store or something like that, and not say anything to him. It's just that we had to figure out and learn each other's cues on, hey, it's heavy right now. I got a lot of stuff on my mind. I can't talk to you right now.
There were many years, and I could say this for me anyway, of me being jealous a lot of years of it. And she would never give me any inclination or anything that she was out there doing something. Nothing. If ever I was working, I would call home.
Yeah, but we would just be on the phone sometimes, though.
Yeah,
That's just
but
us.
that's what
Though.
I'm saying. It's growth. It really is. Um, if a guy walked down the street and she was walking down the street and he did nothing, he didn't say anything. He would just like look, yo, what you looking at? Why you all in her face? That man is 60 years old.
That was a 60-year-old. Yeah.
It was things like
Yeah.
that.
What about the 20-year-old? Let me stop. Let me stop. Stop. No,
Well,
no.
See,
I'm not trying to throw anything out there. No, it's just that there was a guy was with his girlfriend. A guy walking down the street with his girlfriend did take a few peeks.
Tell him again.
because him and his friend was about to do him in. I'm like, no. He's just looking. He can look. Yes,
but I think that's just.
and see, the same thing. The same thing would happen with us, but she would just like see a woman looking at me. I would be oblivious, and then she'll say something to me. I'm like, wait, I missed it.
But you see,
I didn't do
Marquis,
anything.
that's
She's like,
the
see?
thing, brother. I had to learn that. My wife, like you, like her, oblivious to that, oblivious to guys flirting with her, whatever. She's just not there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's just that I process things different because I had to deal with females and your effervescence. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll be in the store. Cashier's like, oh my God, he's so nice. I'm like, oh, girl, please. Oh my God, he's bad. Oh, he's so tall. You can handle that. He's so big. You can handle him. Girl,
so
just
what she's not saying, but I'll say. So the first couple of years,
not the first couple of years. No, okay. First of all,
listen, y'all.
And here's the thing: we knew each other in high school, so it didn't occur to me that when we started dating, he had contacts, light colored contacts in his eyes. I never thought anything. Wait, I never thought anything of it because he comes from a multiracial family.
Tell him the color.
Oh, they were green with a little bit of like a brown around it, so it kind of made it look natural. And the thing is that he has well, he doesn't have it now, D block. Yeah, that's why I'm going. So he had nice wavy hair. So you see a guy, he's 6'4", he's a jock, he plays football, the light color eyes and the wavy hair. That's the look he's giving off. So you would have
not like her
so
because she
Because
tell me.
that was
there would be girls that would say things, and I would be present, and I would have to check them, like like, oh my gosh, look at his eyes, he is so cute. Oh my gosh, yeah, you handle the whole thing is handling you because I was okay. Me being 5'2", and when we were dating, I was about 120 something pounds. So basically, I looked like this little thing compared to next to him. And he was like, "Oh, you can't handle him, girl. You need to come to a real chick." Just stupid stuff, just annoying stuff. Especially that cashier that kept, oh my gosh, look at his eyes. I want to have babies. Oh, look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. I'm like, oh, just annoying. But anyway, he wore those contacts for like the first year we dated. Our second oldest daughter had kicked him in the eye, which he started feeling pain, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I think my contacts are stuck." Went to the doctor, came back, walking around not realizing until I think I forgot what it was, but I looked at his face and he was like, "I see brown eyes." I'm like, "Wait a minute, hold up." All this time, I'm thinking you got a particular color eyes and you don't. I didn't have the thing is I didn't date him for that. That was not the reason why he got me. He got me because how he approached me. How he approached me and how he asked me. I never really paid attention to his eyes until that particular moment. And I was like, wow, you made me feel real stupid. I'd have married you and everything. Oh my God. But I mean, it was still the same, same face. And, I was like, you perm your hair? And he was like, no, my hair is natural. My hair is like this. But I never thought anything of it because, his family multiracial. So I'm just like, okay, the darkest in God with light color eyes. Who cares?
But
I mean, but
that as you get older, you realize that had a lot to do with self-worth. Growing up, really didn't have too much as far as like the whole I'm gonna get a girlfriend or whatever. I didn't have any of that. It was always hanging out with my cousins. They always had girlfriends. They talking about girlfriends. I never had that to talk about.
You see the look on my face? Let me tell you something. Okay. Okay, when we got together and the chicks that you knew and was around and used to date, oh, I didn't have any self-esteem. I had this. That may have been true at one point. But once you started feeling yourself, once you realize how much weight you could lift, what you can do, and that you can talk. Okay, well, there was a conversation that we had one time when we were arguing, when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and it went like this: him looking at his nails, talking about, "Look, I ain't the best looking guy in the world, but I know what I can get." As far as girls, because he can talk, he can talk his way. He can talk his way into the bedroom. Put it that way, he really can. Anyway, that's a little too much information. Anyway, but but there was a number of girls, okay, that you were dealing with when I started talking to you.
But that's I got you on that. But I was being genuine with the camera.
Yeah, I had to deal with them chickadees, them birds, pigeons.
Pigeons. I call them pigeons.
With all that.
Like, look, I'm with you because she swears up and down that I have women flocking all over me. I'm like, who's checking for me because I don't see it.
Yes. So one of the things I tell Marquis is, first of all, Marquis's height start with 6 foot. Okay, you know how a lot of women want, someone tall like that because they don't have to wear heels.
I dealt with it 6'4". Here you go. Oh my gosh.
Right. Then also too, He knows how to hold a conversation. Okay, so you got 6 foot, knows how to hold a conversation. Then he dresses well. So to me, I see what other women, might be saying, and I've heard some, and I had to check a couple pictures too. Like, he's cute, right? He's handsome, right? He's taken. Sorry, try again. The next person. So
Like I remember one time we were downtown walking to a restaurant.
Oh Lord.
No, this is a story. I know you're gonna remember when I tell it. So downtown walking to a restaurant, I think we just going to dinner. It was the weekend. We're walking down the street and this young lady's walking in our direction. And I see her, but I don't think nothing of it. But she sees her and she says that she was staring at me the entire time as we were walking by.
She was. If it was a rock right there, she would have tripped. Right? Like.
And then we get to the restaurant and she's like, "You didn't see that girl looking at you?" I'm like, I saw her, but I ain't thinking nothing of it. She's like, "No, she was staring
you
all
like a
down.
Piece of meat." Like.
I'm like.
Oh, I thought you was gonna talk about the time we were driving around downtown and it was this young lady. She was on a trolley, okay, and she saw Marquis in the driver's side,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just seeing her just eyeball him, like she stopped her whole conversation, just staring at him, and she sees me, and she's like, "Oh." So I was like, "Hey, babe, let me grab the aux cord real quick." I started playing Brooke Valentine Girl Fight. And he's just laughing at me. He was like, "Oh, this is a change of pace." But homegirl got the message. She looked away. She went back to her friends. So.
Oh, that reminds me. So one of my cousins, we kind of, one of his friends started dating one of my cousins. And we went out, we all decided to just, go and hang out and go to dinner. So we went out to dinner, we sitting there, we're having a good time, we're waiting for our food. And there's a game playing on the TV. I don't know if it's a football game or if it was like a basketball game or something like that. So, but I had noticed that there was a chick that was sitting with her friends that kept looking in our direction. I just couldn't tell who she was looking at, if she was looking at him or his friend. So, but my cousin said that she needed to go to the restroom, so I went with her. We went to the restroom, come back. Homegirl is sitting in the seat next to my husband. And she up there gabbing, talking. And I was like, excuse me, hi, you're in my seat. Can you please move? That's my husband. Thank you. Thank you. We have kids. Bye. Like, and I'm saying, and I'm like, girl, you are not, you couldn't even try it if you wanted to. I mean, that's just how I thought back then, because, I was like that.
It was the audacity for me.
Like,
and I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm, a girl could be flirting with me, and I'm just like, just oblivious. I'm like, I'm still in the thing. We just having a conversation.
He's just like, oh, she just was wanting to get closer to watch the game. She just was talking to us about the game. I'm like, yeah, I know she was. I know she was. I get it. He didn't realize what was going on. I saw it, and my cousin saw it. She was whispering in. She was like, let me know if you're ready to jump. I'm like, I was like, no, because we walked back. I saw her sitting in the seat. I was like, and she's sitting next to my husband. Okay.
You made me cry.
I was just like, I knew she was looking at them, but I was like, I couldn't figure out who she had her eye on. I see who it was. Now let her know. Excuse me. Bye.
See, not just me.
I never thought it was
just me. Oh, but don't let Marquis fool you. He had a couple times too.
Yeah,
this one was. This one was.
I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Because they're looking at it.
But I only had eyes for you.
I dig that. I can't say it on camera, but
Yeah.
tell them dudes something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we had a situation that had to be handled. I had a coworker who didn't know how to act.
Oh no, please don't.
And my husband had to handle it.
Please don't.
Now, I can't say no names. Okay, so I had a coworker who was overly flirtatious. I told him I had a boyfriend, not going there, can't do it. He proceeded to continue, even to the point where I'm standing, we're working at a supermarket. So I'm standing there, I'm bagging groceries and things like that. And he just walks over and he like kisses me right here. And I'm like, dude, what you doing? What if my man would have walked in? But I left it alone. I said, that's all I said. I left it alone. Come to find out from one of the other male employees who I became real close with, he was like, he's telling everybody that he slept with you. I'm like, what?
Ooh.
This one here heard a piece of the conversation.
No, hold on.
Okay.
You gotta explain to him how
okay, I was mad. Once I heard it, I was mad. I went home and then he called me. We were talking. He was like, why do you sound like that? I'm like, nothing. He was like, why do you sound like that? Because I heard one of the dudes talking trash about me at the job. And he was like, who? I was like, yeah, I told him who it was. And I'm like, but it's going to get handled. Don't worry about it. The next day I had off of work. The next day I'm getting phone calls from my job telling me to come quick, to come right now because they can't have this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He came to my job. He walked in. He said, hi, is so-and-so here? And they said, no, he's in the back. I'm saying, yeah, he is here. He's in the back. The next thing you know, everybody heard the guy screaming. And I'm like, because they're telling me the story. They're acting it out. And when the way they're acting it out, it was hilarious. Like, they said, your husband, he walked in. He was so nice. At the time, he was my boyfriend. It was like, oh, he was so nice. He was like, is such and such here? And the next thing you know, he went to where he was and homie was screaming. He was screaming. The guy who basically who was telling lies about me. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. Everybody was laughing. Management was like, oh my gosh, what do we do when you call the cops? They said my husband had him up against the wall, and it was nothing but air underneath his feet. And it was like he was standing there, he had his book bag on and everything. He just was holding him up in the air. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh. They was like, please. Wait a minute. They was like, please don't let him, he can come back here, but please, because he's such a nice guy. But please, we don't want any problems. He's, they was like, what's his name is scared. He don't know if he should come back to work. I'm like, ain't nothing else is gonna happen to him. Nothing else gonna happen to him. However, my husband did come to pick me up from work every day after that. Sometimes he was not alone. The thing is, my husband hangs out, he would hang out with his uncle and his friends who all happen to be over 6 feet. His uncle was 6'8". Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? So it did become intimidating. And I had to tell him, look, just wait outside for me. Don't come into the supermarket. Just wait outside. I will be, what time I get off, I will be there. Okay, just wait outside. They had this guy, they had him trembling. He was scared. He used to be like, no, I need a weapon if I'm going to go outside. Ain't nobody asking you to go outside. He ain't going to do nothing to you. If he wanted to hurt you, he'd hurt you then. Goodness.
So let me add one, and then we're going to talk about this. Yes, yeah, we did speak on the phone, but you didn't sound upset like
I was upset. I was not crying.
You were crying.
No, I was not crying. I was upset.
Okay, you were upset crying.
I was upset. I was angry because
But
I really
anyway.
wanted to physically hurt him. So
Anyway, so that pissed me off because it was after hours, the place had already closed, and nothing I could do about it. So the very next day, I think did you stay home?
I was off. It was a Friday. I was
okay.
off on Fridays.
So that the next day, I got up and I put on a shirt, I put on a tie, had on some slacks, very businesslike.
And you had your book bag.
And I had my book bag. Now inside the book bag, we ain't gonna talk about. But I went up there and I asked to speak to him, and I was very nice to the lady up front, like my wife was saying. And she dropped total down. She was like, "Yeah, there he is."
Yes, because she
with that
goes
white
down.
coat. She didn't know anything, but she's like, "Yeah, with the white coat right there." I said, "Oh, thank you very much." Not only did I hang him upside down almost, but I opened my bag and I was like, "Yo, we're not gonna do that," because what my wife didn't say was my man was very disrespectful. She had told this guy a long time ago that she got a boyfriend. He in turn told her, "I don't give a blank about your boyfriend. He can't do it to me." Okay.
Mm.
So when she finally told me that, because it took a little while, um, I was so tight and so upset that my head hurt and I couldn't see shit. And I said, "Yo, let me go take care of this." But here's the kicker to all of that, and I think I told you, honey. I actually ran into him years later. He was walking down my block. Yeah, check this out. He was walking down my block where we live in Brooklyn. Guess he didn't realize it, but I was coming out of the building where we live, and I saw him, and I was like, "Yo!" And he turned around, and when he turned around, he got nervous, and he said, and he honestly sat right there. We grown now. This is years later. He was like, "Yo, I apologize, man." I said, "No, it's cool." I said, "It's cool." But he did ask about it. I said, "No." I said, we happily married." I said, "At the time we had what, 3 kids?"
Mm-hmm.
At the time we had 3 kids. I said, "No." I said, "We happily married." So she's actually upstairs. I said, "I told you I asked for her." But I thought that was pretty cool that he actually understood that he messed up. I forgot we're on camera, so I can't say what I want to say. That he messed up. And he was man enough to, whether it be the fact that he almost lost his life or he just grew up and realized that you can't go through life like that. He actually corrected himself. And I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, he was gonna, that particular day, if the manager and everybody had not come and they didn't call my wife, he'd have been finished right there on the floor, right there in the meat market.
It's just one of those. It was one of those situations where I thought I was being a friend to him because he used to talk to me about issues that he had a girlfriend and she was pregnant, and he used to talk to me about problems that that he was having with her and how she was. And I guess for whatever reason, from the 2 conversations that we had, and I gave him advice, I guess he thought it was something else. And I'm like, that, and that's where I learned that, it's okay to be friends, but make sure that you keep a safe distance, because you have no control about how the other person is going to take it. And I've had, even before getting in a relationship with my husband, I've had issues where guys would be like, "Oh, they like me and they thought, it was going somewhere." But I'm like, "No, I thought we was just being friends. Like, you would talk to me about situations that you're going through, and I was being helpful to you." And I guess they misconstrued what it meant. I'm like, "No, I don't see you like that. Sorry, I just don't." And I'm just like, especially, and I'm telling him I got a boyfriend. Like, I got a boyfriend. You've seen him. You've seen the size of him. Like, like, what do you think?
He was ready.
It was more guys than Stanley.
Before I dated you, I told you about the issues in high school. Yeah, you can't be friends with him. You can't, like, it's just like, yeah. But that went too far, too far. Like, Like, how you telling people that you ain't did nothing with me? You had 2 conversations with me. 2.
Clean up aisle too.
Wow.
Like, what's going on in the deficiency in your head that you think is going to be a relationship? Like,
He was ready to
So,
risk it
yeah, like
all.
I said, we got to do a part 2 to this, man, because we are an hour and a half into this. But I just
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
I got to ask you a question, man. So you were diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah, I was in 2017, a month right after we started dating. I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia, it's a blood cancer. I've been in remission for some years now. I
amen.
actually beat it twice, so thank you, thank you God to that. And yeah, she was with me every step of the way. There were times where she would come over after working a 12-hour shift at her previous job, and she would spend the night with me. So I mean, that's when I started realizing I have a winner. And then as we progressed in our relationship, it just came to a point like, you know what? If I don't marry this woman, I'm going to regret it. And I didn't regret. So October 10th, 2020, I said, will you marry me? Will you make me the happiest man in the world and be my wife? And through the snot and the tears and the shaking of the head, but no answer, she said yes. So it
I
was,
don't remember this shaking of the head that y'all speak of. I just remember I was in shock and I was like, "Are you serious?" Because Marquis, we had talked about marriage before, and he was like, I just want to wait till I'm financially ready. I want to be able to give you the world and everything like that. And I would tell him, "Well, I don't need the world. All I want is you." So he was like, "Just let me put some stuff into motion, and we'll see about next year." And then next thing I know, he's on down on one knee in the rooftop
Oh,
overlooking Lake Michigan.
that's so
And I'm
beautiful.
like, "Are you serious?"
That's nice. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up. But I wanted to get that in because I wanted to, like I said, man, everything we talked about today, this segment was pretty much roses. You know what I mean? Um,
mhm.
but people want to see and they want to understand it's not always roses. How do you deal with situations that come forward? So you having cancer, for me, is I have MS. I have multiple sclerosis. So that's actually one of the reasons why I didn't really want to be in front of the camera because it has gone through my body to the point where it has contorted my face. Like there's certain things like if I'm trying really hard to talk to you guys and not constantly squint to whereas I'm look like I'm winking at y'all. You know what I mean? But
And that's the thing, because he has,
Mhm.
very small eyes, You do, though. You do.
and look, on that note,
You have very small almond shaped eyes.
and on that note, listen, we would love for y'all to come back so we could do a part 2. But I just think the world needs to know and needs to understand that young relationships can blossom
Hmm.
to older relationships.
Sure can.
But it has to start, there has to be a nucleus, it has to be a basis for where it's going to start. So,
And seriously, you guys are kind of pretty much, you are further ahead than where we was
right, you
during
really
that
are.
age.
You really are. And
Mhm.
if I had flowers, I would give y'all flowers. So we're going to give y'all virtual flowers because here,
Thank you.
honestly,
Thank
to
you.
Thank you.
Thank
hear where you guys have been and where you're going.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And the stops that you've had in between them, but you know how to deal with those stops and those bumps in the road. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yes, it is. It
It's
is.
awesome. Um, but for us, I think what we've gone through, it had to be because I could honestly look at this woman now and say, "This is my wife. This is my queen." And in no circumstances have I ever thought, even to back then, as I'm thinking about it, that she would change, that she would do anything to me. And I've done some stupid things. Like I said, we can talk about that in part 2. But I've done some stupid stuff.
Everybody's on super stuff.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
eternally grateful to God for opportunities, even opportunities like this, because for a long time, Miss T, I used to think, are we the only couples in this whole world that I'm a Leo and you a Virgo, and we are not? Yeah, check it out. Mathematically, we're not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but
And
right,
I was like,
when we first
wait.
when we first told you guys, and y'all were like, seriously? So it's just awesome. It really is, and I thank God for our union,
Yeah.
and I thank God for this opportunity today that we got a chance to talk. So just promise us, and promise the rest of everybody, and we're gonna do a part two because there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we got to talk about. But we'll be here until tomorrow talking. Like the first like the pre-interview. Yeah, that pre-interview was only supposed to be a half an hour. What did we do? Like 2.5 hours?
Shout out to the purple one.
So listen, we're gonna cut this off, guys. Y'all, thank you for joining. It's usually I say it's my truths, but today we're gonna call it couples truths. I'm Mike. That's the Nick. I'm sorry.
Joy.
I'm sorry.
Both of them are my
sorry.
names.
I'm
People
sorry.
always jack up my first name. I'm just going by my middle name,
Yeah,
Joy.
exactly. So I'm Mike. That's Joy. That's Marquis. That's Miss Taylor. And
we out.
Y'all stick around with me, okay?